Next up, our insight of the week. Now, there are many who are bemoaning the slow pace of transformation in South Africa, but the township of Soweto is highlighting the fact that there is significant economic development taking place, and investors and entrepreneurs with some appetite for risk are cashing in. Joining us in studio now is Lesika Matlou from Exet Tours and Busi Yende, the Gauteng manager for Cape Wine Academy. Excuse me. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I'm going to come straight to you, Lesika. I mean, you have been in Soweto since 2009. And your business operations started sometime after that. How have you seen Soweto changing over time, and how did you make that decision to find opportunity and run with it?
Okay, so basically, I'm not born in Soweto, first of all, right? So I never got to see Soweto when I was younger. All I saw was about the stories of how it was. And then when I started living in Soweto, when I came to Joburg and went to live in Soweto, I mean, it was, at first, I didn't know I didn't spot the opportunities as well, until later on when you start meeting other entrepreneurs, and as well as when I got to the incubation that I'm currently in, which is our project, then I started realizing that, you know what, there's opportunities here. I mean, the streets have changed. More people are out, want to make businesses out of themselves. There's malls being built. There's no need for most people to leave Soweto and come to the suburbs anymore. They can just stay in Soweto and get all their necessities there.
And how difficult has it been for you to set up a business there? What are some of the challenges that you faced?
So we run a tour operating company, right? So which is like our offices are not in Soweto. They're based actually in the CBD at Constitutional Hill, right? So the challenges was one that a guy from Rustenburg telling people about Soweto. Right. That was the first challenge, right? That people are always going to question, like, what do you know about Soweto since you haven't been living here for that long? So that was the biggest challenge. The second challenge is that, you know, it was the lifestyle. It's very different from coming from Rustenburg to here, right? Sowetans consider themselves trendsetters of the country, and coming from a place where a rural area where it wasn't so fast paced and there were a lot of things moving around. That was the challenge. That adapting to the situation was the major challenge.
So it's almost like you had to establish some kind of credibility as an outsider.
Yes, I had to establish some kind of credibility as an outsider.
That first challenge, how did you overcome it?
So the first challenge, what I did is that when I came to Joburg for the first time, I moved around a lot, because when you're unemployed, you move around a lot, right? And you make friends out of nowhere. And then from that, and also reading a lot about what happens and talking to people about Soweto, not just the young ones, but even people who've been living in Soweto since the 50s, right? And they give you insight. And when you realize that the young ones in Soweto that don't even know the stories of the old ones in Soweto, and that was how I got my creativity. That I started learning what the old ones know, what the young ones didn't know, and also learn what the young ones know, so to tell the older ones. So that's how I got my credibility in Soweto.
So Lesika, once you had broken that barrier and set up your business, did you find that within the communities that there was an appreciation for local businesses?
There's appreciation for local businesses. I mean, we get a lot of support from the people within Soweto, right? Like the guys that we work with, all the guys from the towers right through the B&Bs that we work with. You get a lot of support where they would call you and ask you to take some of their clients and show them around the city as well.
Now, before we get to the wine festival in Soweto, and this is where I want to bring you in, Busi, I also just want to bring you in this discussion in and around business opportunities in Soweto. A lot of this is predicated on a growing black middle class. Are you finding that this is also the same reason why there has been such an uptake of this particular festival?
I think that's, yes, that's true. With Soweto Wine Festival coming into Soweto, we've seen an increase in the number of people that attend Soweto Wine Festival. I would say 9 years ago we had 500 people attending, and now we're talking about 8,000 so people coming to the Soweto Wine Festival. And also we try to create business opportunities for people that are in Soweto. The food court that we have at Soweto, it's people that are from Soweto that are selling food at our food court. We use the shuttle services that are based in Soweto. So yes, Soweto Wine Festival also is a good opportunity for people in Soweto to grow themselves within the wine industry.
I think maybe Thandisiswa, maybe you can help me sort of wrap my head around the demographic here, because to a large extent we talk about a black middle class, pushing demand in Soweto. But I think, Lesika, you might agree that you also see a lot of outsiders, if I may call them that, actually coming into Soweto. So what's driving demand right now? Is Soweto attracting people from outside of Soweto, or are we finding that that's working simultaneously with a domestic growth?
Look, I think by and large, Soweto is one of those townships in South Africa that have a very, very rich history. And I really like and appreciate the fact that the people in Soweto didn't sleep on that history. They said, you know what, we've got a good history. We can't and we won't keep it to ourselves only. We will share it not only with the people of South Africa, but with the people around the globe. There's establishments when you go to Soweto that you find that there's more there's more people that aren't from Soweto in those particular establishments, because the people of Soweto have become, so open. They want to share.
Right.
And I think, yes, there are ills like any other township or like any other place. But I think the story of Soweto is one story that we need to celebrate in South Africa. It's become a beacon of hope for most townships in South Africa. I mean, I come from Cape Town, and
I was about to check if you come from Soweto. Beacons of hope and everything.
I come from Cape Town, but trust me, and I mean, I grew up in the townships of Cape Town. But when you talk of Soweto and you say to them, I've actually been to Soweto, they get so interested. They want, they ask, how does Soweto do it? Because really Soweto is a place of dreamers. It's a place of doers. No one sits and thinks and just waits for something to happen. They get up and they go and they do it. It's an inspiration to a lot of people. Now, and the nice thing is, when you start your business and you do things like the wine festival and stuff like that, you get a lot of support from within the community. Now that support is very and should be very encouraging to you and to every other young person or business person that wants to start a business and so on, because when you get the support from your own people, I don't think there's anything that can stop you from succeeding.
I think you raise an interesting question though, to see where a lot of the income is coming from. Is a large portion of it coming from these new touristy experiences? Because we see here in the article that half of the attendees at the wine festival are from outside of Soweto.
Right.
So I think there also needs to be a balance that they can't depend, Soweto can't depend too much on the touristy elements for that sort of ongoing revenue. There needs to be some grassroots movement that sustains it in the long term.
Of course, we're also seeing the introduction of events like the Wine Festival that are almost breaking the societal barriers that we have as a people about, who belongs where. And Busi, I want to find out, how have you taken wine tasting, which I must admit that I concur with the author of the article who says this is a predominantly Eurocentric or white idea or social activity, and planted that at the epicenter of not only black social life, but of Sowetan social life. How have you been able to break that perception?
Okay, what we've been trying to do over the years is put more education onto it. As you know, I come from the Cape Wine Academy. We teach people about wine. We teach about wine etiquette. We try to make sure that people understand that spitting when you go to a wine tasting is an etiquette. You can't be saying, no, I'm going to be drinking everything because I don't want people to see me spitting. So you try to break that barrier first, that people need to understand that spitting is an etiquette. They need to understand that you hold the glass by the stem. Why are the reasons for doing that? And once you break that barrier, then people feel free. They are now able to go to wineries or the exhibitors that are there and ask questions. They are free to ask questions, because that's one of the feedbacks that we got from the wineries or the farms that were there exhibiting, that people are now asking matured questions. They don't come to you and say, give me white wine, or give me red wine, or give me sweet wine, like before. They now ask more mature questions. They want to know, how is the wine made? Who is the winemaker? Where is your farm situated? Why do you call this particular wine this? So education has played a big part in making sure that the people in Soweto don't feel that wine is stereotyped to the European or to the people that can only afford, or people that live in the suburbs, but is for everyone.
So can we expect a whiskey tour in Soweto anytime?
I know that there is something that is coming up. Nikelo Mangipu, who's the co-partner of Soweto Wine Festival, is planning something that is coming up now, end of September. So yes, there is a whiskey festival that's coming up in Soweto.
You know what I like about Soweto? You know, people don't tell themselves that I'm from Soweto, therefore I will do what Sowetans do. You know,
Right.
they have a very aspirational mindset. You know, the wine tastings may be ideas, you know, from Europe or the West or whatever.
Yeah.
But those guys aren't telling themselves this is not for us. They don't have that attitude that this is not for us. You know, when the I can't remember what you know competition it was, but when they first brought the rugby semi-final and
I
then the
remember
final
that,
at,
yes.
I think at Orlando Stadium, you know, I had discussions with people in the sport arena, and a lot of people thought that, you know, it's not a good idea. There won't be ticket sales. People in Soweto aren't exposed to rugby, and in fact, they don't like rugby. You know, they'd rather go and watch a game of football. But actually, did you see how, you know, how it was accepted, and how, you know, people from other areas around Gauteng, when they went to Soweto, they were introduced to the Soweto culture, the Soweto type of or Soweto kind of living, you know, and is that aspiration that just breaks the barrier.
I want to come back to Lesika. I mean, in the article, you make a very interesting point about people from Soweto trying to, or living a lifestyle that makes it clear that they're not at the precipice of slipping back, and that they are they've progressed and they are now affluent. Are we finding then that the majority of black spenders that you find in Soweto are not actually residing in Soweto, and that they actually come back just to reconfirm and reinforce the idea that, you know, this is where I come from, but this is where I am now? And do you perhaps have an idea why we have that disconnect?
I mean, like most of the guys I also see as well that are actually doing that are not from, either were born in Soweto but then left and either lived somewhere else because closer to work and so forth reasons. But come the weekend, most
Everybody's
of them
back
go back.
home.
They all go back that side, right? And I think it's like where you grow up will always be a part of you. Like you always want to go back to where you grew up now and then. If you want to go back as much as you can, right?
But
So.
yeah, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, Lesika, but I'm just want to throw a quick question at Busi. I mean, on the one hand, Thandisiso is obviously very patriotic about Soweto, but I know deep down inside he's even more patriotic, probably about Guguletu or whatever township he actually comes from in Cape Town. Is there Guguletu? See, I was right on the money. Is there scope to see the wine festival expand into other townships? I know Umlazi is one in Durban that has come out prominently, and maybe, you know,
In fact, they do have it in
They do have it in Cooks, which is also organized by the Cape Wine Academy, owned by Umzoli from Guguletu.
Yes,
so we
yes.
do have Guguletu Wine Festival, obviously, and Umlazi that's coming up until we find a venue that is suitable in Umlazi. And then I know that there's another wine show that they've now started in the Val Triangle. It's called the Mid-Val Wine Festival. So there's quite a few wine festivals that are coming up in the township, and there's quite a few, and there's one in Mpumalanga, there's one in Limpopo. People are coming up with ideas, and it's business opportunities for different people
And
to
are
start
all
up
these
their
other
own.
ideas also bringing the lifestyle element into it? Are you seeing a combination of music and good food all coming together?
Definitely. I'll say with Soweto Wine Festival, like this year, we had Food Network. In fact, we've had them for the past 3 years. Food Network partnering with Soweto Wine Festival. We've had different radio station coming to partner up with Soweto Wine Festival, which brings up the lifestyle. We've had different tourism companies coming up to partner up with Soweto Wine Festival, just to show that it is a lifestyle event. It's wine, but wine goes with lifestyle.
So Busi, in the same way that people want to buy fancy cars as a symbol of they've arrived, do you think adopting a wine culture and attending these types of events is the same sort of concept dynamic at play?
I think yes. Most people, if you go out with your friends and you start ordering a cider, do people look at you as a classical lady, or do they look at you as another drinker? So what's the best thing? You buy wine and people will look at you with that sophisticated look, and they will think that you're sophisticated even if you're not.
So all the better to know where it came from.
Yeah, the better to know where it came from, but wine is classical and it's sophisticated, so why not buy wine when you go out and dine? So same as with beautiful cars, buy a beautiful car so that people can see that you're classy and sophisticated. You buy wine, people can see that you're classy and sophisticated.
I'm sure though, Lesika, from where you stand in the transportation business, you probably have even a better view of where the traffic of demand is going. Are you finding that, I want to particularly zoom into the restaurant scene in Soweto, because there is that strip that you've just got to be seen in that area. Can you just give me, what are the hotspots?
The Vilakazi strip.
The Vilakazi strip, absolutely. What are the hotspots? Where should you be seen if you're going to be in Soweto, eating in Soweto? Where should you be seen to be eating?
So, like with food, it depends on what. Firstly, the atmosphere that you want, right? On a Sunday, I guarantee you the place to be is on that strip, on the Vilakazi strip on a Sunday, right? And then, because during the other time it's very touristy and locals don't tend to go to it on those days. And then come on Saturdays more of Chesanyamas are more popular. And you can check as far as Panyaza in White City, all of those places, more Chesanyamas are more popular. Sundays when people sit and wine and dine on Sundays, and we want to be seen on that strip. And that's the famous strip right now in Soweto.
Now, just before I close, Tanisizwe, I want to rope this conversation back down to the dynamics between local businesses and big businesses now seeing the opportunities in Soweto and for lack of a better word, encroaching into that space. How is that dynamic playing out, and how is that shifting business in Soweto?
Look, I think Soweto has still got a long way to go to grow. Local businesses or big business are now, talking about moving things like call centers to Soweto, for a variety of reasons. One of those is that a lot of the employees or a lot of the staff actually comes from Soweto. So what better way
to set up right there
than to set it up there? Because you've got my grandmother who always phones when she's got trouble. She phones this person about that cover or that cover. Now, if she can actually walk into the call center and say, I'm actually looking for those people that have been phoning. She helped me a great deal 2 months ago when I lost my, my grandfather or whatever. And then now you've got that connection. You're getting more closer to the people that you're doing business with. Secondly, your staff are close. Instead of waking up at 6 or 5 o'clock, taking a 6 o'clock taxi or bus to Sentinel to downtown Johannesburg, they get up at 7. They're fresh. They get to take their kids to school. They get there. They can even bring their kids to their place of work. Thirdly, rental rates, can be considered cheaper in Soweto
than
Sentin, than downtown Johannesburg. So it's those variety of reasons. Hence, as in the beginning, Soweto is still going to grow. I mean, a lot of people in Soweto are picking up golf because of where they work. Now, what better way for some developer to say, actually, let's take a golf course to the people of Soweto than taking them around Gauteng looking for golf courses. And by doing that, you're getting the whole of Soweto interested in the sport of golf. It's that's not an American golf. It's not an American sport only. Sorry, it's not a Tiger Woods sport only. So I mean, it's those kinds of things that I firmly believe that we are going to see going forward.